How do you optimize your sleep routine? Well, here's my routine and you might be able to get some tips out of this. Welcome to the Awesome Human Podcast, your path to total human optimization. Ready to unleash your 100%? Let's go. Welcome back to the show. Now, I know that I previously did a big sleep podcast, 25 different ways you can improve your sleep, and I kind of worked through it in terms of like the day and then your routine and then the night and then a few other tips. But I thought I'd approach this in a little bit of a different way, add some different tips into the mix. And the reason I'm doing this is because I got quite a lot of questions on social media after I did that podcast, relating it to specific people's routines, their challenges with their sleep, because sleep is a challenge for a lot of people. It's probably been my number one challenge in human optimization. Now, just to set the scene, I have ADHD. I got diagnosed when I was at uni when I was 21 or 22. I have a very busy brain as a business owner. I'm always getting ideas. I'm a very creative person. This is something I've only really understood about myself in like the last 2 years, but I'm actually quite an emotional person. Like, I act on emotion, I act on feeling. And the reason I didn't resonate with that is because I saw someone that was emotional as someone that almost didn't have control of their emotions, were someone that had a lot of outbursts. They would seem quite erratic, and I wouldn't describe myself as that. But when I think about how I am kind of internally, I can feel things quite strongly, and they can then make me create movement or action or change based on those emotions. And I kind of feel other people quite easily. I can pick up on like other people's like energy and what's kind of happening with them emotionally. And I didn't really kind of resonate with that because of my perception and the story that I told myself about someone that is emotional. Now, all of this is kind of, I suppose, painting a picture around for someone that has struggled with their sleep. You've got ADHD, business owner, busy mind. I used to be very fearful of what's happening with the business, like what's happening with my health, that kind of stuff. And then you've got someone that feels things quite intensely. And all of that can create a mental and emotional recipe for someone that struggles with sleep. Now, physically, I kind of did most of the right things for quite a while. And I think most people, from what I have encountered when talking to people about their sleep, a lot of people, try to go to bed at a decent time, have a black dark room, don't have their phone on, try and keep it cool. Like, those things, they're all like the practical ways that you can optimize your sleep. But then there's the mental and emotional ways that you can optimize your sleep. And from what I'm seeing in conversations with people, and me, N equals 1, that's what I've experienced my trouble with in getting deep, restful sleep. So I thought I'd come at this sleep conversation from a personal perspective, look at my overall routine, how the different things in my life impact sleep and intersect with sleep, and then kind of just try and create a bit of a picture for you, tell a few stories, tell a few whys, and hopefully that can help you kind of look at your own sleep and optimizing it a little bit more. I know coaches are following this podcast. It might help you with some context with coaching other people. If you have friends and family that struggle with sleep, it might help, again, give you some context on how you can help them. Because ultimately, we want to help other people with this information, right? We don't just want to keep it for ourselves. We want to help our friends, our family, our communities, our fellow gym goers. And that's what makes the world a better place, where we learn this information, we're able to share it and impact a wider audience. That's how we get change in the world. That's how more people become awesome human beings. So a big thing for me, and when we look at sleep, is sleep ultimately starts with some of our behaviors during the day, right? So if I do consume caffeine during the day, and you would know from previous podcasts, I don't really have much caffeine anymore. I'm still at the point where I'll have it pre-training, and very rarely if I've slept really badly, and even if I do, it's a small amount. But previous to that, And I would always advise people, try and cut off caffeine 12, like 2 p.m. at the latest. The old line of thinking used to be cut it off at 4 p.m. That's too late in my opinion. Most people are usually going to bed by at least 10 p.m. You've got too much circulating caffeine, from my experience, having done this with a lot of people, to get good quality sleep. So try and get that last caffeine intake later. If you do want something like energetically to help boost you, there are non-caffeinated things. There are non-caffeinated pre-workouts if you want to take something before you go to the gym. There are other things that you can wake up the brain and body with, like splashing water on your face, going out for a quick walk, doing a little bit of breathing or mindfulness, like just taking a break from your screen, going into the kitchen and putting on some music and listening to it, like walking up the flight of stairs in your office building. Like, there are other things we can do outside of caffeine to optimize our mental and physical performance. Us feeling tired or lethargic isn't always a caffeine deficiency. Well, in fact, it's never a caffeine deficiency. Caffeine is just, unfortunately, one of the key go-tos that people have when they're feeling a little bit tired. But trust me, there is more that you can do, and they probably take just about the same amount of time as you going and making a cup of coffee, ordering a cup of coffee, etc. So there's the caffeine thing. Then there's the food thing. So we eat most of the time with our kids around 5 p.m. I often work from home, so we'll have dinner with the kids like 5:15, and that means I eat really early in the day. Now, the research seems to indicate 2, ideally 3 hours before bed, you're having your last meal. Now, if you are going to eat later, and you generally eat later because maybe you go out and play sport, maybe you work late, like whatever it is, try and have a low protein, like the amount of protein that you need for your physical needs, ideally leaner, and then have it higher in carbohydrate, a bit lower in fat. So the reason we're trying to get food away from the bedtime window is we're trying to get all of the blood, or more of the blood, away from the digestive system and to more of the peripheral tissues and the brain, so that we can do the deep regenerative work in your sleep. So if you were going out for dinner late and you're like, oh, I have the steak, and you're having like steak, triple cooked chips, glass of wine, like that's literally a disaster for sleep. So I know it takes a lot of self-control, because going out and having a steak is amazing, but quite often I'll go out, and if we're eating at like 8:30 p.m. and I want to be asleep by 10, I'll be the guy that will order the vegan menu, or a vegan option off the menu, or I'll order a lean protein. It's quite, because I don't want to sleep badly. Like, I value sleep that much. But if I do go out for dinner, I try and meet friends a little bit earlier if I can. Now, alcohol, I've talked about it before, literally a no-go if you want good quality sleep. Try and curtail your fluid. So I'll stop drinking. I'll have my dinner, and then an hour later I'll have like a big glass of water. I'll take Awesome Defense, Awesome Omega, Awesome Joints, kind of together. And then the last fluid that I'll take in the evening will be Awesome Sleep, which is our new sleep formula. I've been using it for about 3 months now. I'll talk about what I feel are the true effects for me personally in a minute, but I'll take that about an hour to an hour and a half before bed, and I'll only have about 150, 200 mils of fluid to make sure that it's not going to kind of impact my sleep too much. Now, my evening is usually, the kids are in bed by about 7 p.m-ish. I'll go walk the dog, I'll come home, I'll do house chores. We usually sit down and watch like an hour of telly in the evening from like 8 till 9 basically-ish. Sometimes I'm doing other things, but that's like pretty normal, pretty routine. Literally 1 hour of telly, time together, kind of me and the wife and stuff. And then it will be either shower, or I would have had usually a shower before that. Now, I personally, and this is something that I've been doing for about 6 to 8 weeks now, I've been having my evening shower like about half seven, hot shower, and then about 90 seconds-ish of cold. Now, most people feel that cold is going to kind of upregulate the nervous system, but I was chatting to Wim Hof about this. And he basically said, what we see is that the autonomic nervous system, so your parasympathetic and your sympathetic will respond in the way that it needs to, or you tell it to. So at night, you ideally want to be parasympathetic, the body's winding down. So what I found is when I'll go into the cold shower is like I'll stay nice and calm, because a lot of people use cold water therapy to like hype themselves up. Like I'll see people on social media sharing their cold water stuff and they're like, there's all this like, energy to like pump adrenaline up, wake yourself up, feel supercharged, and like, cool, if that works for you, like absolutely whatever. But for me, the benefit of the cold is to the immune system. And that's why I'm doing it. The immune system and the anti-inflammatory effect. And what I've noticed since I've been doing it over the last 6 to 8 weeks is I've had one little sniffle cold wise. Now I am doing some other things. I'm trialing something, and I'll speak about this in a future podcast, because I've just seen a new research report that showed that people that meditated and have been meditating for a long period of time and in a lab were then infected with COVID, didn't get the COVID, because the people in meditation released this enzyme called serpin A, I think it's called serpin A5. Amazing study. It's very early days in terms of like me trialing it. I obviously meditate quite a bit, but about 6 to 8 weeks ago I started doing the cold showers. I started taking awesome sleep, and I mean, I over the last couple of years have picked up every bug known to man off my kids. We've had sniffles all the time and I've never felt this good. Could be chance, could be other things. I'm just telling you, N=1, my experience. So back to awesome sleep. Back to cold water. So because I've got an Oura ring, I can track exactly what my autonomic nervous system and my stress is doing through my Oura ring. So I'll have a cold shower and I can see that my body, my mind is relaxing. Like I don't feel hyped up. I'm not getting hyped up in the cold water. I'm very relaxed. I'm very at ease with the cold. And I literally just do it because I feel the therapeutic benefit of having 90 seconds in the cold. Is it enjoyable? No. Do you take some kind of sick, sadistic pleasure out of it? Yeah. But I vibe with the outcome. And that is the thing with health sometimes. The human body does like to be lazy. Like it likes to conserve energy. It likes chilling. And sometimes we have to do things that the body doesn't want to do, the mind doesn't want to do, but we know that it equals a positive outcome for us. It's the same with nutrition. I'm sure there's loads of us that would like to be more flexible than we are with our nutrition, it not have a negative impact. But the reality is we have to make choices for the benefit of our greater health, because we know and feel and experience the negative outcomes of it. So that's why I do the cold. So I'll then be kind of like chilling, low level lighting, like little lamp in the corner of the room, nice and kind of dark. And then we'll kind of go up to bed like 9, 9:15, never usually later than 9:30 if we can help it. I like to be asleep by like 9:30, 9:45. So in the bedroom environment, me and my wife have 2 different duvets. Really important for us, that we don't have that kind of tug of war with the duvet, which you can have in your sleep and you're kind of like pulling it, or you're just agitating each other. So we both have our own duvet. My wife has a really thick fluffy thing and I have a 3.5 tog. If I get a bit cold, which is rare, I find I'm quite a hot human, I'm quite like warm in my sleep, then I'll put on a t-shirt. It's absolutely fine. So nice comfy pillow. My pillow's made out of bamboo fiber, absolutely love it. Duvet, nice high quality cotton sheets, and then the windows open. We live in a nice quiet little village, so it's very rare we get kind of noises outside, which is great. So the windows open, lots of circulating air through the night. I will do, and this is something that I have been doing it, but I'm doing it in a slightly different way, and I'll update you on the effects of this. But basically I've hired a high performance coach who specializes in stress, resilience, breath work and leadership. And I wanted to do that to see if I'm leaving anything on the table. In my day-to-day life, I consider myself an athlete. I want to perform at my best. I want to be at my best. I want to perform at my best in my business, which is really important for me. And I know a lot about human performance and sleep, but I don't know everything. And I'm now taking a very I am an athlete approach to my personal development, and I'm trying to bring more and more coaches into my life, mainly with what I can handle time-wise, because all of these things have to be implemented and assimilated, and I don't want to be kind of overwhelmed by the amount of like things that I'm trying to change. I've also got to track the changes and see the benefits, so that's kind of another thing. And yeah, I'll update you as we go, but one of the things this coach has got me doing is a different type of breath work in bed. So I'll lie down, I'll put my blue blocking glasses on. Now, with these glasses, I know they're expensive. Spoiler alert, I got mine for free, so very grateful. I got them off a company called Blue Blocks. I think they're great. What is the benefit I've seen with them? So I'll get into bed and I just find that when I put them on, it decreases the amount of time of me feeling essentially sleepy. So within 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm knackered, I'm ready to go to bed, like brain switches off. So I've noticed that time to me feeling sleepy is reduced from wearing them. Whenever I've worn them earlier in the evening, so like 8 o'clock, for example, I've not seen any extra benefit in terms of like sleep duration, sleep quality. So for me, it's just had an impact on my body getting sleepy and me being ready for bed. So I'll do this breathing technique. It's 3 seconds in and 6 seconds out. The research seems to indicate, so I'm told, that if you can breathe around 6 times a minute, that's very parasympathetic nervous system inducing. So you can do whatever timing you want. I was given a choice by my coach of 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, or 3 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Which I know is different. That's 10 seconds and 9 seconds, but whatever. I didn't ask, to be honest. That's only just clicked as I'm like recording this podcast. And yeah, I think I've found it calming, but I've literally been doing it for 5 days. So I'll have to update you in the future with how it's going. But I've always done some kind of like 5 minutes where I just breathe calmly. I consolidate the day, I calm down, I bring in gratitude for my life, and I just take a moment to just calm down. And I'll just lie there, sort of half sitting up with my like 2 pillows behind me, hands on my heart, on my chest, and just really taking a moment to center myself. Then I'll read a book. I'll either have the lamp on, which is very low light, or I've got this really small little kind of light that I can put on if my wife wants the light turned off. And then I'll read. Like these days, I'll quite often read for like literally 5 minutes. I'm ready for sleep and I'll turn over. The book is always quite calming, quite nourishing, like Stoic philosophy, something within the spirituality space, or something maybe within parenting. I'll never read anything business related at bed. Never, ever, ever anymore. It used to just start my brain off, basically. I'd get kind of excited. I've had ideas. So for me, please read something that's very calming, very nourishing, and just makes you kind of ready for bed. And that's it. I already mentioned what happens in the night if I wake up. Now I'm very good at getting to sleep, back asleep again very quickly. I used to be very bad at it. That used to be my number one challenge. Getting to sleep wasn't always a big challenge. The time it took me to get to sleep used to be a challenge. It used to take sometimes 30 to 45 minutes, but I'm now very good at lying down, calming down, letting go of the day, which is really important. Letting go. It'll all be there tomorrow. Like, it's absolutely fine. I'm very grateful for everything in my world, and getting to sleep. But when I used to wake up at like 2, 3, 3:30 a.m., brain used to become very active. And again, when I woke up, I used to have like a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, and now I'm very good at letting it go. I tell myself that sleep is the priority. If I want to be a high-performing human, I need to let go, get back to sleep, and really value getting back to sleep rather than the alternative of getting up, doing things and being productive, but then also sacrificing my health, whether it's later on that day or the next day or kind of cumulatively. And that's kind of the sleep routine. So coming back to awesome sleep. So there's probably two major things. The first one is quite light, in that awesome sleep has made me feel even more relaxed in the evening. So I've actually spoken to quite a few people online over the last 2 weeks, where people have said that they found taking awesome sleep a bit odd because it made them feel heavy. And and the reason for this is that some of the ingredients in awesome sleep, A, look to deeply relax the body, and B, they act as like a natural mild sedative. So if you're not used to feeling like really heavy, relaxed, ready for bed, and awesome sleep makes you does that, that's why it's doing it. Don't be alarmed, that's perfectly normal. That's what the product is designed to do, to kind of really just relax your body. The more relaxed we are, the more prepared we are for a good night's sleep, the more parasympathetic we're going to be, and we're hopefully going to set the stage for a really nice sleep. Now, for me, number one benefit of awesome sleep, and probably if I was to single out a benefit, is literally the depth quality of my sleep. Now, I've always kind of slept around 6.5 hours. I'm usually in bed about 7.5, maybe 8, but my actual total sleep time is usually around 6.5 hours. We'll see if that changes with the coaching that I'm getting at the moment. I'll let you know and update you at some point in time. But it's the sleep depth. So my deep sleep's gone up from, used to be around 50 minutes, and it's now about an hour and 20, sometimes an hour and 30 at a push. And then REM sleep is sometimes all the way up to 2 hours, but quite often about an hour and a half, an hour and 40. And that used to be around an hour and 10. So that's been the significant difference. I'm still pretty much in bed the same time, but my level of restorative sleep is a lot better. And I don't know if any of you saw, I posted a video on social about 2 months ago where I went over my sleep data of when I first started Awesome Sleep. And my Oura ring just went up in terms of resilience, where I was at limited and I just went all the way up to just below exceptional on the Oura ring, which is very good. That means my body's very ready. It can handle stress, it can handle training, it can handle load, and that's a real good thing. And that's where good quality sleep comes in. And we all know the impact of sleep on everything within our lives. But one of the things I don't think we always think about is the impact of sleep on other people in our lives. I don't know about you, but I am a much better dad, much better husband, much better friend, much better leader, much better colleague when I'm well slept. There's just so many benefits. And when you tune in to what you're like when you're tired, and how that affects different people, different situations, it's really profound. And that's why I'm very bullish on sleep. And it's also why I'm being honest that it has been a struggle area. And it's not like I don't put the effort in. I'm not up late watching Netflix. I'm not doing the right things. There's just, I suppose, elements of my physiology and psychology that can play against me when it comes to sleep, and I'm trying forever to kind of improve and tweak that stuff. And sometimes it's just okay, cool, I did everything I could, I didn't get the best night's sleep, but that's kind of okay, and I'm totally cool with that. I now no longer never play the victim to getting a bad night's sleep. I just accept it, and I go very, very positively into my day, and I feel awesome literally 99% of the time now, because I've shifted physiologically to a good place, but more than that, mentally and emotionally, and I'm in a lot better place where I let go, I get on, I'm happy regardless. I never want to play the victim to my situation, because I am doing the work. If you're not doing the work, then you need to do the work. It is on us to change those things to get the outcomes that we want. Now, hopefully that's been helpful. The only other thing I didn't mention within all of that is training and its impact on it. I train during the day, so it's not an impact. And I do that mainly for family and lifestyle reasons, but also I always used to struggle getting to sleep when I used to play rugby. And rugby training, you train like 7 till half 8, sometimes 9 p.m. You're getting in, you're eating, like all of that is really working against you for a good night's sleep. So after I got COVID, I was like, look, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not training late. I value sleep too much. I've got young kids. I've got a business to run. Like my priorities are elsewhere. So I'll now play a sport or do things where I don't have to be, eating at 9:30 at night after training and stuff. It's just a choice I want to make. And I know that that's not ideal because there's plenty of people that might listen to this that, do play hockey in the evening and whatever, and we just have to make the most of it. But like now, if I was to play rugby again, or I was training late again, I think I would try and calm down as quickly as possible. B, I would try and eat as quickly as possible, and it would be quick digesting. It would be high carbohydrate, lean protein, just the right amount of protein to kind of recover, but not anymore, because protein is the slowest digesting macronutrient, and we don't want to slow digestion down. And then as soon as I got home, I would be trying to kind of really calm down and be quite proactive about it. And I would say I could have been more proactive about it when I was younger. Sometimes I wouldn't eat till I get in. Sometimes I'd have quite a heavy meal, but because I would be hungry. But now I would have a much greater awareness of what I would need to do to optimize my sleep off the back of exercising late at night. And I know there's plenty of people do that because of just life, like work, like when they can fit it in. So try and optimize that if you can. I don't know when you're listening to this, if it's over the Black Friday weekend, which is when this podcast is going live. If you want to try Awesome Sleep, there's 25% off Awesome Sleep. It's the only product we're doing for Black Friday. If you want to try it, literally go to the website, go to the Awesome Sleep page, and the discount will already be applied on the website. And if you do try it, I'd love to know what you thought. If you are struggling with elements of sleep and you think I can help, then I'm always around on social media for you to troubleshoot. Otherwise, thank you. Go be an awesome human. Bye.